Oh, hi everyone. I hope you're all well. I hope you're living the life according to the way you want to live it. You're being kind to yourself, friends, family, and your animals. I had to bury my Gussie boy, my 17-year-old cat today. He was with me for 17 years, 7.5 years, and he's on heart tablets 9 a day, and been doing that for the last 3 years. And I just love that cat. He was actually better than people, seriously. Some of the horrible fudders out there and nasty people, my cat was a much better person than you, and a much nicer person. So always happy, always kind, always had a smile on his face, if you can call it that. Just better than people, basically. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this guy, Habib Azam. Nothing annoys me more when you read something like this, and someone did send this to me because I never look at this stuff. Seriously, one of my contacts or clients sent it to me, and I see something like this, and it just sends me, it just sends me red, seriously, because I read this stuff and I go, where does this guy get this garbage from? Seriously. I just can't help myself. So I had to go into LinkedIn because I had to get this guy's background, and I knew he didn't have any background in banking or anything else, or settlements or anything. And he didn't even have any blockchain background. So I just had to find out who this bloke was. And I've just gone into LinkedIn, right? Because I'm a member of LinkedIn. So I gotta show you this. That's me up there. Okay, so I just find this really frustrating. I wish people, honestly, wouldn't send such FUD, because they just don't know what they're talking about, and they really try and encourage people. And honestly, I just tell the truth. Honestly, if I thought XRP and the technology of Ripple was shit, I would tell you. I have no vested interest. I don't get paid money from people to say this technology is great and this one's shit and whatever. Honestly, if I honestly believed something was crap, like EOS and IOTA and NEO, I would tell you. I don't get paid by anyone, but when I read this stuff about XRP and Ripple, it just sends me irate, honestly. And I just wonder where these people get off on this stuff. Does this guy get paid? Because it's just not technically correct. I mean, if you're going to write something, at least tell people the truth. Seriously. I don't mind if it's the truth, but when it's not the truth, it's just, why do people lie about these things? I don't understand. Seriously, I just don't understand. Anyway, look, this guy, I found him on LinkedIn because I'm a member of LinkedIn. He's basically a digital media professional, and he's been doing that in the last 10 years. So, he looks about 30 or whatever. Great, and he doesn't have any blockchain experience. He has no cryptocurrency experience. He's like a product training manager for videos. Okay, that's what he does. He's a specialist in videos and training for videos and planning and all that sort of stuff, and advertising, in technical product. I mean, with no disrespect, Mr. What's your name? Mr. Azam, Mr. Habib Azam, digital media specialist. Honestly, you're really not in a position to be commenting on Ripple, the technology, and XRP. And seriously, I know it's a free world, but honestly, if you're going to at least write something for the medium about Ripple and XRP, at least make it honest, because, you just don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice about this, and I'm not calling anyone idiots anymore, because I really do believe being nice to people. But, seriously, you haven't got the background to write this stuff. And if you're going to write anything, please make sure it's correct, because it's just not correct, Yes, you're an advertising, whatever, video person, and that's a very far cry from banking and settlements and SWIFT and, everything I know in my 30-year career or more. I mean, and you're a technical services product manager and multimedia, for videos, and digital video manager back to 2006. And then you went to university in 2001, 2004. And then you went to high school in 1994 to 2001, Well, you know, when you're in high school in 1994, I was in the markets in 87, and, you know, honestly, you've done media, technology and digital broadcasting. Seriously, why do you write stuff like this when you don't know what you're talking about? I'm sorry, I don't want to be nasty, but seriously, man. Anyway, let's go to the article. Oh, golly, I'm just frustrated, seriously. Okay, this article came out on June the 18th, okay, and he's obviously trying to get a following, and that's fair enough, but I don't even do that. I don't even do stuff to get a following, right? Because I'm just not interested. You know, I just tell the truth and that's it, you know, and, you know, I don't do it to you know, get YouTubes or anything. I mean, a matter of fact, I don't even look at other people's YouTubes. I didn't even know that mine had all the hits because people told me. I just do my own thing and I live in my own bubble. But honestly, I just want stuff to be honest, you know. Tell the honest truth, because people make investments and judgments on stuff they read, and it's not right and it's not fair, you know. And honestly, whether it's a cryptocurrency or not, it doesn't matter. It's beside the point. Whether XRP is a security or not, it honestly doesn't matter. The question is, and let's just make this very sensible and very easy for everyone, very simple and very sensible, very simple. Does the technology work? Has anyone else in the world been able to do what Ripple does and what XRP does and what its technology does? No. The banks for years have been trying to do instant settlement in volume with thousands of transactions for foreign currency. And no, they've spent billions on it. And no, they can't do it. I know, because I've worked in banking from 87 right up until recently, 2 years ago. I have people that friends that still working in banking and some of the biggest banks in the world. And they tell me a lot of stuff, which I won't name any names, but seriously, I mean, honestly, I wish people, honestly, just wouldn't FUD. You know, if you're going to say anything, tell the truth, for Christ's sake. You know, get your facts right, man. So, you know, we go into this crap, you know, yes, we know the growth, whatever, innovation. You know, what opinion does, you know, this guy's opinion doesn't mean jack shit, to be perfectly honest with you. He says in the future, he says there's many years away from mass adoption, in my opinion. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Habib. I think you're extremely wrong about that. You know, if you read the Federal Reserve's steering committee on faster payments, which they've had a federal committee, fastest payments steering committee since 2015, and Ripple, yes, Ripple has been on that committee, and they've written 2 large reports, part 1 and part 2, 60 pages each. They recognise it as being a real problem that no one can settle foreign currency instantly, funds cannot be settled instantly, domestic, and they have gone out to look for companies that can do it. And Ripple sits on the steering committee for that. And it would not surprise me if the Federal Reserve said they are going to use Ripple's technology. You've just got to get your facts right, man. I mean, you know, instant settlement, you know, in this day and age, we should have instant settlement for everything. Everything. Information, like, you know, Brad Garlinghouse said, is fast. It's nearly instant. You know, we should not have to wait for our salary to come into our bank account from the banks after a weekend, 3 or 4 days later. Someone overseas in Middle East or in America or Europe shouldn't have to wait for a foreign currency payment for 2 to 10 working days. And honestly, your opinion, with no disrespect, doesn't mean anything, because you don't have the experience and you don't have the technical ability and you've never worked in banking. You're a media video specialist, which is a very far cry from blockchain and settlement issues. And honestly, I really take umbrage to basically trying to influence people and steer them in the wrong direction. This is just wrong, completely wrong. you know, the guy that's been on the faster payment, Federal Reserve's faster payment task force since 2015 May is a guy called Ryan Zagone, Director of Regulatory Relationships with Ripple. Now, you know, look at those reports, because honestly, the Federal Reserve sees it as being a real problem. They need faster payments, they need instant settlement, and they need it now. And they need it for, you know, domestic, US dollars. They need it for the domestic banking system as well as the global banking system and foreign currency. And they see it as a real problem and they need it now. So, excuse me, I've got a cold. So the first thing I will say, you are not equipped to make a statement like this. You don't have the skills or the background. You did a media degree in media and video, which has nothing to do with finance, economics, financial, settlement systems, risk management systems, money management, anything, or foreign currency. So you shouldn't even be commenting on something like Ripple and its technology. That's the first thing I will say. So your opinion doesn't mean anything. Yeah, we know there's been a lot of innovation. Big deal. Okay, so what? There's literally a race. Well, tell us something we don't know. Is there a race or what? I mean, Ripple and its technology stands way out in front of everyone else. I can go through every crypto just about, the first top 100, and I can tell you problems with every crypto except Ripple's XRP, okay? Which ones? Which cryptos have the great technology behind them? Which ones? Because I can tell you something right now. Of the index that the professional market uses, the crypto index, which is a top 30, most of those coins in that index have technology problems, except XRP. And a lot of those coins have been maliciously hacked. They have problems with their technology, and essentially, the technology has gone down time and time again. And there's been real issues, and I can tell you every one of those damn coins except XRP. Okay, what else we got here? What does Ripple have to do with this? Here we go. So you're an absolute authority on Ripple and XRP, and you're a media video guy that has no experience whatsoever in anything else. Yes, I'm asking you, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah, explain it to me, please. So a true cryptocurrency, I mean, seriously, you're just listening to everyone else that does a stupid YouTube and means jack shit, right? A true cryptocurrency. So what? A public ledger. No one major person controls it. I could tell you something. I could go through every other cryptocurrency in the top 30, and I could tell you they are controlled by one or two people, because they don't get enough transactions on their so-called public ledger, i.e. IOTA. They have to use an administrator to push the transactions through 30 to 40% of the time. NEO's the same. Again, Bitcoin is not decentralized in the sense because the mine is controlled by 4 major miners in China. Wake up. So, about 4 months ago, are you not aware that Bitcoin's fees went up to $55 because the Chinese miners would not validate Bitcoin's transactions? And Ethereum's had the same problem, massive problems, because the miners would not validate the transactions, because there was queue after queue and you couldn't get a transaction processed through Bitcoin. For 48 hours, or Ethereum the same story because they use the same miners. Now, is that centralized or is that decentralized? Seriously, what are we talking about here? Could we say that Bitcoin's not a true cryptocurrency and Ethereum's not a true cryptocurrency because it's in control of the same miners, and Bitcoin Cash uses the same miners? So, we're talking about 4 major miners out of China that now work somewhere else. And they control the transacting capability of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum, and validate those transactions Well, in my book, 4 miners is centralization. You know, yes, we might have nodes all over the place, i.e. the technology is decentralized, but the actual working of the technology is centralized. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash use the same miners, and they will not transact or validate when there's a queuing system and they ask people for more money. Just like Ethereum with gas, just like Neo with gas. It's the same story. Okay, so let's go through this. I'm already pissed off already about this. To start with, so what? Who cares whether it's a true currency, cryptocurrency or not? Who cares if it's a security or not? The bottom line is the technology works. You know? So what? You know, in limited supply, disrupt the current. So what? What's your point here? So what? So what if it isn't? Who cares? The technology works, man. Are you missing the point? Yeah, please explain this, because seriously, I think you're on very thin ground. I have to say this. Yeah, so what? Everyone's got to diversify their portfolio, whether you invest in XRP or whether you don't. Let's put it this way. If you invested in Ethereum and you invested in every ICO that sits on the Ethereum portfolio, think about it. 90% of the ICOs that sit on Ethereum's platform, okay, 90% of them that get done sit on Ethereum's platform. If Ethereum went down overnight or it got hacked, and there have been problems with the workability of Ethereum, massive problems, you know, multi-signature accounts have been stuffed, they've had to do, you know, hard forks, all sorts of things. They went from Ethereum because of the DAO attack to Ethereum Classic, and then Ethereum Classic got hacked, and now they're thinking about doing another hard fork. Now think about this. If you sat on with Ethereum, all your ICOs that are on Ethereum, you run the risk of not being diversified at all. Okay? So again, this is bunkum. Why don't you talk about Ethereum? This is garbage to me. You know, you just don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, crypto market is a very big deal. It is volatile. That's right. Of course it is. Banking on a single coin. You know, again, how do I need to say this? And do I need to shout this to the rooftops? XRP is not a banking coin. The technology of Ripple is for everyone. Everyone. It's not just a bank coin. The technology allows you to get your wage from your boss instantly. Allows you to get paid by Medium instantly. Rather than them sending you a payment through the old banking system of SWIFT, and you don't actually get that in your account for 2 or 3 days. That's the whole point. Banking using SWIFT, anything using SWIFT, is delayed and you don't get your money instantly. XRP with Ripple technology, even without XRP, Ripple's technology allows you to get your money instantly. That's the whole point. XRP and Ripple are not just a banking coin. The technology is for everyone. You know, my frustration is I get paid by my subscribers. I use Stripe and I use PayPal. And you know what? PayPal. Someone pays me today and I have to wait for 3 to 5 days for that to come into my bank, into my account. Someone pays me Stripe today by credit card, and I've got to wait another 5 days to get that money in my bank account. The banking system uses SWIFT, which is an old system from 1973. It is archaic. It is like a horse and buggy compared to Ripple. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I used Ripple's technology and, you know, Ripple's technology, I would get my money instantly, and I'm thinking about doing that. That's the whole point. Ripple's technology is for everyone. It's not just a banking coin. You mean to tell me you don't get frustrated when you don't get your money straight away? Or when the bank holds onto your money from, you know, you make a payment on Friday, to a friend of yours and you don't get your money, they don't get their money until next Tuesday? Is that not an issue for you, Mr. Habib? Seriously. Anyway, let's just go through this. So please discuss Ripple XRP in detail, right? Because I want to know what you're going to say for someone that has no idea about anything. Yes, you're comparing Ripple or XRP to Bitcoin. Bitcoin relies on a network of miners. That's correct. Yes, we know that. You know, the fact is, those miners validate those transactions when they want to. Okay? And we did see a situation about 3 or 4 months ago when those transactions weren't validated for 48 hours. 4 major miners. 4 major miners. And actually, the network wasn't running properly. The network was taking 48 hours to mine and to transact those transactions. So if I was waiting for a cup of coffee, I was paying by Bitcoin, my transaction would not have been processed for 48 hours. Now that's just not feasible. The Federal Reserve can't use Bitcoin. That is a fact. Okay? No one can use Bitcoin because the reality is if they only have 4 major miners and they don't know when these guys, if they feel like it, are going to transact and validate the transactions, how can anyone use Bitcoin? Seriously, the Federal Reserve wouldn't do it. I can tell you right now. Okay, Ripple, set up. There are no miners. They have about 100 billion of coins. So they have 100 billion of coins because according to Ripple, the problem they are fixing is a $24 trillion problem. According to my facts and figures, the whole global money market system and equity and bonds and foreign currency and central funding authorities and sovereign wealth authorities, it's a $200 trillion problem that doesn't settle instantly. I do the transaction now and everyone gets their cash flow. Do you understand what I'm saying? I have to make a payment and you get your money instantly. It's a $200 trillion problem. How do I need to stand up and take my clothes off? $100 billion for $200 trillion problem is nothing. You know, you've got to use this in relativity to what we're talking about here. You know, you can say, yes, 100 billion is a lot, but what are they looking to solve? This is a very biased, one-sided paper, and it's not right. If you're going to say something, write something that's correct. But this is not correct. And by virtue of that not being correct, it's a lie. And I don't like it when people lie. So they are trying to fix a $200 trillion problem because the global and domestic financial system of money that the banks hold, does not settle instantly. And it's a $200 trillion problem. Now, if the global fund money system, whatever you want to call it, settled instantly using Ripple's technology, everyone would get their money straight away, instantly, and the banks wouldn't hold on to your money for 3 to 5 days, and you'd make a lot of money, and they would make a lot of money. Okay, so you know this is relative. 100 billion in the scheme of things for a $200 trillion problem is nothing. Honestly, absolutely nothing. I don't know where you work it out, but it's nothing. Seriously. Well, I've got to tell you something here. 20 billion. You need to check out your facts for every other cryptocurrency out there. Okay? Honestly. If you check Ethereum, if you check EOS, if you check IOTA, you check a lot of the other cryptocurrencies. I'll give you an example. EOS. 95% of EOS's holders own 100 of EOS's holders hold 95% of the coin. Okay, and I'd hasten to add that if you check other coins, you've got the same situation, like NEO, for example. There's only a small percentage of people that hold the volume of the coins. And, you know, it's like that with a lot of cryptos, okay? So just showing, you know, Ripple as a problem, I think it's a very, very biased anti-Ripple article, and I don't appreciate it at all, because you have to be, you know, fair about this, and you've got to be well balanced. And if you're not, then I'm just going to slam you, man. Seriously, Mr. Habib. Honestly, what's your name again? I don't want to, you know, I want to make sure that you're right, Mr. Habib Azam. Honestly, this is really biased, and I don't appreciate it at all. Seriously. Where did I get up to? So we got up to this. Now I've been distracted. I had to look at your name for a minute. So, I mean, just this. Ripple has been methodically distributing its tokens. What does that mean? No, they haven't. What do you mean by that? Seriously. I mean, they just don't willy-nilly issue their tokens. You know, I'd really like you to explain that, because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yes, they do. They nearly hold 50 billion in escrow. You know, but the thing is, they've done that because the retail crypto market has no understanding of the problem that Ripple is trying to fix, and they have a solution to. As I said, Ripple has the technology to instantly settle. The problem is a $200 trillion problem, where banks have to hold money in their Vostro and Nostro accounts because they are not able to settle instantly through the SWIFT system, because they don't know when their cash flows of foreign currency or domestic are going to settle, whether it be 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or 10 days. So they have to hold loads of cash in their Vostro and Nostro accounts. Now, if you don't know what that means, I'm not going to tell you, because you're supposed to be the expert, not me, but you're a digital specialist video expert, and I'm just, you know, I'm just a banking, you know, trader, funds management person that's been in banking and funds management and cash flows and treasury all my life. But so seriously, you know, again, you know, 100 bill is nothing when you've got a $200 trillion problem, and Ripple, the technology, has a solution for that. So what? You've just repeated yourself. Who cares? This is the same crap. There's no way. Ripple aren't that stupid, man. You think Ripple are that stupid in this retail market? The retail people are so stupid. They buy coins because they have a small supply, regardless of the technology. So you must be that stupid as well, Mr. Habib, because honestly, you know, you're basically saying to me that people buy the coins because of the small supply. And a matter of fact, they do on the retail market, which is just dumb. You know, you don't buy coins with a small supply so you can rev it up and rev it down if the technology doesn't work. You know, that's just dumb, and it is dumb, and that's what the retail crypto market does. They buy coins with small supply, regardless of whether the technology goes up or goes down. Now, this is just completely false advertising, because seriously, the supply of XRP is not an issue, as I said before, because they have the solution to the problem, a $200 trillion problem that doesn't instantly settle cash flow. Okay? That's for sure. Ripple is the technology provider to XRP. It's no different to the Ethereum being the technology provider of Ethereum coin, or NEO being the technology provider of NEO's coin, or IOTA being the technical, you know. I mean, that's just, you know, this is like, you know, they're doing something deceitful or devious, and that's crap. You know, the technology itself is decentralized. Okay, now I could argue a lot of other crypto coins are not decentralized if you're looking at an administrator, right? Ripple has over 1,000 nodes. The technology is decentralized. If you're looking at Ripple being an administrator like IOTA, that has an administrator, like Neo that has an administrator, like, Ethereum, that has a foundation or whatever it might be, they've all got the same story. Every crypto's got the same story. This is no argument. This is no argument. It's just silly. Just stupid. What nowadays talking about? Coin company tokens. Are we talking tokens or coins? It's just dumb. There's nothing here. So what? So what are you saying now? Current? Yeah, that's right. Do you understand? If the banks use X-Current, they save 30 to 40% in their bottom line. Do you understand that? Do you really understand that? That is a massive saving. If they use XRapid with X-Current, which includes XRP, and it's not Ripple token, it's a coin, okay, they save 70% of their bottom line. Do you understand that? It's not a bridge for currency. It's actually a liquidity provider as well, okay? It's not a bridge for currency. XRP is a liquidity provider. This is completely wrong, what you're saying. This is not a bridge to currency. Currency acts in its own right, and so does XRP. Okay, that's why they save so much money. This is not a bridge to currency. This terminology is completely incorrect. Completely incorrect. And they don't just do transactions in emerging markets. Again, emerging markets could be Bolivia, it could be, South America, it could be bloody, Africa somewhere. They do transactions in all the leading foreign currencies in the world. Ripple's technology can do transactions in the art world. They can do transactions in property. They can do it in, all sorts of things. They do not do transactions in emerging markets. Not just emerging markets. They do it everywhere. They do it in Australia. They do it everywhere. In all the G7 countries, the biggest countries in the world, that are, AAA rated. You're making out that these guys, have got technology like from the milk bar down the road, the fish and chip shop. These guys are the most professional group that runs, crypto technology. And regardless of whether you want to call them crypto or not, it doesn't matter. It's beside the point. Big deal. The technology works. Every other hack we've had in individual technology, the list goes on and on and on, seriously. Ripple's security is second to none, seriously. They've got amazing security. Why do you think they've been sitting on the Federal Reserve Payments Committee since 2015? And I wouldn't even mind betting, and I'll put my name on it, that the Fed will probably use Ripple's technology. And that's certainly going to shut up all you fudders, isn't it, Mr. Fudder? This is crap. I get frustrated with this stuff, seriously. Oh, God, this is boring. That's all just garbage. Don't listen to this guy, seriously. They're not. They're using it. What do you think MoneyGram's doing? What do you think Western Union's doing? What do you think Lian's doing? What do you think Colex is doing? What do you think CBA is doing in Australia? Westpac, NAB? Honestly, ANZ, they're paying Ripple a fortune for the use of their technology. Honestly, they put on so many providers and the list goes on. Santander, it's not test. They're using it. This is why Ripple has so much money. This is a lie, and I don't even want to go into it because it just frustrates me. What else you got to say here? Why do you even talk about Ripple when you've got no experience? Seriously. You've got no experience in blockchain. You've got no experience in banking and no experience in settlements. It'd be like me writing a report to the medical foundation. I don't know anything about, doctor stuff and, how to treat a broken leg. It'd be like me writing about cars. I wouldn't even go there because I don't know anything about it. Why would you bother? Why would you write this stuff when you don't, when you don't know anything about it? It doesn't make sense to me. The thing is, banks aren't obligated to use XRP. That's correct. But if you're a bank, now listen to me, if you're a bank and if you use XRP and you can save 70% on your bottom line rather than using SWIFT, what are you going to do as a bank? If I'm Bank A and I use Ripple's technology and XRP and Bank B still uses SWIFT and I have a 70% advantage over them, in other words, I get 70% of my cost back, which effectively gives me 70 cents on the dollar more than the other bank that still uses SWIFT, what am I going to do? I'm going to go and get their clients, aren't I? I have 70 cents more in my pocket, which means I can lower my interest rates on credit cards. So, the other bank shows a credit card of 10%. Because I'm saving so much money by using Ripple and XRP, I can go and show a credit card and advertise it everywhere at half price, 5%. What do you think clients are going to do? Seriously. I'm a bank and I go to my lending department. I've got 70 cents extra in my pocket from $1 and I go to my lending partner. What are all our competitors doing in the banking industry? They go, the rate currently at the moment for a housing a loan mortgage is 8%. So I go to those guys, right, I'm in Treasury and we have a meeting. Let's show a mortgage rate of 4%. What do you think the clients are going to do from every other bank? They're going to come to my bank, aren't they? Seriously. Why wouldn't a bank use Ripple and XRP? And they will. They will. And the Fed could use it. The Fed has been testing Ripple's technology since 2015. You've got to get your facts right, Mr. Habib, seriously. You've got to get your facts right. So what if Ripple's not a public company? Who gives a rat's ass? That's got nothing to do with the technology. It's got nothing to do with the technology. Doesn't matter whether the company's a public company or whether it's not, whether it's shares, whether it's not. The technology works. I'm just going to scream here, seriously. The banks in Japan, 81% of the banks in Japan are testing Ripple's technology and they will use it. They're going to use it. Seriously. This one, I can assure you, Calix is not a small operation. The remittance market, now listen to this, the remittance market in Mexico is one of the biggest remittance markets in the world. Okay, a lot of Mexicans go to the US and the remittance market is $33 billion. That, in my mind, is not a small operation. Okay, they remit instantly. The market in Mexico from the US is $33 billion and going higher. Oh, this is really annoying me. This is just FUD, FUD, FUD. FUD, FUD, FUD. FUD, FUD, FUD. The thing is, yes, you do say that Ripple went up 36%. So, something's wrong with your analysis because, seriously, if everything you say is so bad about Ripple and the coin XRP, then why did it go up by 36% last year? It was the best performing cryptocurrency last year. And I will be on record for saying it will be the best performing cryptocurrency in the next 2 years. So please, anyone that's reading this stuff, please take it with a grain of salt because Mr. Habib, whatever his name is, if you look at his link profile, has got no experience whatsoever. He's in video management. He doesn't know anything about financial markets. He knows nothing about settlements. He knows nothing about nothing. And seriously, people like this shouldn't say anything because it'd be like me being a mechanic and talking about cars. I don't talk about things that I know anything about. Honestly. I mean, As an investor, for me personally, negative the crypto, I mean, that is garbage, man. That is absolute garbage. Seriously. So you tell people to go and invest in something like IOTA or NEO or EOS where the technology doesn't work? Seriously. It doesn't matter whether, the technology is decentralized. It doesn't matter anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's, whether it's a security or not. The technology works. The banks for years and years, have been trying to get instant settlement. It's cost them billions of dollars, and they could never find it. Swift was been trying to do it for years. Ripple is the only company that could do it in volume instantly, foreign currency. No one else could. They have technology that no one else has. Again, Ripple is a Google. Get it through your head, man. Ripple is best of breed, and they are way out there. Seriously, and you are so wrong. Cheers, guys. I hope you all enjoy this, and this frustrates me. This guy doesn't know anything about anything. He should just stick to media and making videos, fair income. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.